So whether you're holding a violin, a viola, cello, or bass, the principle behind the way we stand and the way we hold our instruments is all about relaxation and good posture. When we have a nice straight posture as well as a relaxed posture, what we can do is we can actually keep our muscles pretty loose and relaxed as well, which allows us to move more freely and easily. The other thing that it also helps to do is prevent any possible future injuries. So whenever we're playing any instrument, we want to keep our posture pretty straight, and we actually want to stay pretty relaxed as well. And that allows our muscles to move a little bit more freely and a little bit more easily. Let's talk real quick about how you place your feet. So what you want to do first of all is not to have your feet close together. So you want your feet about shoulder width apart, and for violins and violas, because you're going to have a violin or viola on your shoulder, your left shoulder, you're going to move your left foot forward just slightly. If you're going to be sitting for violin or viola, or if you're going to be playing the cello, there's a special way that we do want to sit in our seat. So the first thing you want to do is not sit all the way with your back to the back here. You actually want to sit more forward on the front of your seat, like this. And that allows you to keep that straight posture on your back. That's kind of the natural straightness. It also gives you quite a bit of room for movement when you're playing your violin or viola. And we'll show you in just a second how you sit with your cello. So let me show you now how you're going to be holding your violin or viola if you're sitting or standing. First of all, you've got some different spots on your hand. There's this one here that is that bottom knuckle area of your hand on that index finger. You've also got the pad of your thumb right there, and that's going to be part of a tripod, 3 points of contact on your instrument. So the first point of contact is your shoulder. Your instrument comes up and rests up on your shoulder, and it goes slightly to the side over there. It's not going to come all the way forward, and it's not going to come way over here. It's just kind of rested a little bit off to the side there. And to grab, we've got that spot on your index finger and your thumb. There's the spot on your index finger. It's going to rest there, and your thumb is going to be pointing upwards. And yeah, that's how you hold it. If you are sitting and waiting for something with your instrument, it's great to put your instrument in what we call rest position. So rest position is going to be where you take your instrument and you lift up your arm and rest it under there. And the nice thing about rest position is that, let's say that you need to play, you've already got your hand that's keeping hold of the instrument, you let go and you can pop it right back up really quickly. Now for holding the cello and sitting with the cello, what you're going to do first of all is you're going to get the cello out, and you need to get your end pin to the right length. The general rule for your end pin is about a span on your hand. And so it's going to be about from the tip of your thumb to the tip of your pinky, like that. Which this isn't an exact marking, but it's close if you've got the right size cello for you. So what I'm going to do to double check that is I'm going to take this and put the cello at arm length in front of me like this. And next I'm going to reach out my hand and see if it's level. I'm just going to set my hand there. Right now I'd say it may be just a little bit lower than level, so I might actually raise this up just a little bit. So I'm going to extend that end pin out just a little. There we go. And again, tighten it just until it's not moving around. See that again? Yeah, that's pretty much level right there. And so the next thing I'm going to do to hold this cello is I am going to set it in front of me in between my legs with the end pin down. And next I'm going to take that end pin, move it slightly to my right, and pull that cello up into me. There we go. Now, right now it's a little bit high. I'm going to push it, the end pin out just a little bit, give me a better angle there. And the goal really is that my ear should be about across from this peg. My hand should be able to reach up without reaching really high or without reaching down really low. And at this point, yeah, it's able to set there pretty good. And also my bow arm should reach about halfway between the fingerboard and the bridge, that I should be able to pull a bow back and forth without reaching up too high or without reaching down too far. Which, for this cello, that's about right. One more thing to be aware of is how you set your legs around the cello. That we don't want your legs to be way back here. Your legs actually provide quite a bit of support. And so you want your legs on either side there so that you can actually move pretty easily, freely and easily back and forth with your cello. You should also be able to give your cello kind of a big hug like this and be able to rock back and forth. And that allows for maximum flexibility as you're playing your cello. Finally, we've got this awesome instrument right here, the bass. And this instrument right here, similar to the cello, you'll want to pull the end pin out. The bass itself should be resting again up about here so that your hand can come up and your bow can reach down without having to go too far. So probably for me, my end pin would put it right about here. So I'm going to go ahead and extend my end pin. Most basses will have little notches and little grooves, and those notches and grooves help with how big the bass is so that it keeps the threads from being stripped. All right, trying this. My hand is reaching pretty good. And right here, it's not having to reach too far down, although I might bring it up just a little more. Just brought it one more notch out, and my hand sitting there, my bow arm sitting there. You just rest the bass on you. If you're using a bow, obviously you're going to be pulling your bow just like you would a cello bow, unless you've got a German bow, which we'll talk about in a future video. And yeah, there is the standing posture for the bass. Now for bassists who choose to sit down, you wouldn't actually be able to sit in a chair and play bass. It's just too tall of an instrument. So we use a stool to help us sit. And what you'll do is you'll take the instrument, and again, kind of like you did before, you'll bring it up against yourself. And the only difference really is that you'll sit down, and your left leg is going to be on the stool, and your right leg just to the side. You give yourself some support there with that instrument up against you. And then again, you play like this. There's lots of different options for stools. There are some that are made specifically for the bass. This one that we've got at our school is wonderful. It changes heights. It also changes angles. And there's just such a wonderful amount of things that it can do. But you can also just buy a regular stool and just make sure that it's high enough for you. If it's a little bit too tall, then what you can do is you can just shave down the legs a little bit. There are also some from IKEA and from a few different places that you can get that are adjustable. But that is how you hold these different instruments. Now this is a quick note for both cello and for bass as to how you hold the neck of the instrument. So what you're going to want to do is kind of create a C with your hand. Usually your thumb is going to be somewhere in the middle here. It's most often just kind of where your hand naturally will grab. So like if you were to pick up a water bottle, you'd grab it, and for me, and that's right about here with my thumb. You take that C, and your thumb is going to come rest on the neck of the instrument, about halfway between where your first finger and your fourth finger will be, and curl around with that, and curl around with the rest of those fingers. And we also want to make sure that your arm isn't kind of in like this, creates an unnatural curve in your wrist, so we keep that out to give the most natural curve right there. And same thing on cello. You're going to create that C and keep that curl, there it is, on the back of the neck there. And fingers curl around, first finger where it goes, fourth finger where it goes, and all the rest of the fingers resting. And you'll see again, not collapsed in this way, and not too high, just about level with my arm. And part of that again is due to how high I've got the cello. And one last word for me, which is that your posture, how you hold your instrument, really does make a difference in your playing. Any professional will tell you that when you have great posture, it really does help you play a lot easier. And so just make sure to spend time paying attention to, am I sitting right? Am I holding everything right? And you'll make a lot of progress.